Grand rising, good day, buenos dias, bonjour, all that good stuff. Welcome to Viata's Tiny House Village. I'm in my living room, in my kitchen over there, and my bedroom over there. And it's a beautiful place to breathe in a new day. And we're going to do some joint rolling. And Blog Talk Radio is up and running. So let us welcome our female solution family all over the world in Blog Talk
Blog Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yay! Yes, we do. We want to talk to you, but most important, we want you to talk to us here at the Female Solution. And I'm in Tiny House Village. It is a beautiful day after a stormy week. And I'm so grateful to share with you my journey as a senior citizen. All over the state of Florida, I have experienced tiny house communities, and I want to share that with you, that you might be inspired to go tiny and to let go of some of the goods you've been accumulating and go into a smaller space, at least in your heart and mind, and detach. So welcome to my tiny house village. Now, that last picture was a house I lived in for 5 years, 180 square feet of beautiful energy, small space, but I made it work. I made it work. I had to let go of a lot of stuff, though. So, welcome, welcome to my tiny house village and blog talk radio, the female solution. So, it's August 8th. No, it's August 9. Yesterday was 888. When you add up all the numbers for the day and the year, it came to 888. So something called the Lion's Gate was opened for all of us to once again enjoy energy in a special day, special place. So here we are one day after the Lion's Gate opening. And what do? We breathe in the moment. We breathe in the moment and let go of the old. Breathe in the new. Let go of the old. And that's how we warm up to joint rolling. That's what you're here for, right? We're going to roll all these joints to strengthen our immune system, improve our circulation, and strengthen our muscles, as well as develop our or help our lymphatic system to drain. I attended a workshop online of lymphatic healing, and one of the points that was brought out was this area right above the collarbone. This is my collarbone. You can see my bones really well because I don't have a lot of fat. But right above this is where you have a major lymphatic gland system working. So when you massage that area, anytime you don't feel well, you're sick, you're weak, no energy, just put your fingers in this area above the collarbone, and just massage and kind of push down toward the bone to drain the lymphatic system. But that's what we do here at Viada's Tiny House Village. We work on us, me. We work on me. As I've said in my shows lately, I'm voting for me as president. So already some of my friends are calling me Madam President, Dr. V, Madam President. I'll accept that title because the crazy insanity that we see going on in Washington, D.C., I don't know, it's not gonna change much. That system is so corrupt, in my opinion, that we need to work on us. Take charge of your health, become your own president of this whole environment that you live in. Let's just clean up our neighborhood. I walked around the neighborhood yesterday picking up trash. There will be no trash in my neighborhood. And that's like a 2 or 3 block area, plus my subdivision, walking around there throughout and riding my bike throughout. If I see trash, I know I'm on trash patrol the next day to pick up the trash. So that's how we contribute to our presidency. We start right in our neighborhood, right in our own environment, bringing balance to our life. And that's what's not going on in the world right now. Unfortunately, there's wars and rumors of war. And the best thing we can do to protect our energy, that's what my friend Ralph Smart on Living Waters is talking about. Protect your energy, because there are all types of forces out there that want to drain your energy, take your energy, suck it dry. And that's why we're talking about dismantling the colonial sick care system. You're going to be maybe surprised at the connection between colonialism and the sick care system. There's a connection that came to me the other day, and I said, oh, maybe I should talk about that this Friday because it relates to health and well-being. And my disclaimer for all of you fact checkers out there is that this show is not intended to replace any advice you may be receiving from your medical professional, your doctor. If you have an acute, which means all of a sudden like emergency room type injury or challenge, or a chronic long-term challenge, if you have any of those situations going on in your health, by all means, see your health professional and get some advice. And then come back here every Friday, watch my videos from Friday, and get the information, the knowledge you need to start taking charge, because it's a broken system. And we're going to talk about how deep the colonialism is in this system today. But I know why you're here. If you're here this early in the morning, you want to roll some joints. And that music that we play on my tiny house video, it's meant to kind of loosen you up. I don't know if any of you can sit there and not move, do that music. That's a loosen up melody. So we have loosened up our body, and are we ready to roll? Because we want to strengthen our immune system, improve our circulation, and strengthen our muscles, and get our immune system, all that work. That's what happens when we're rolling these joints and moving this body. So let's take a deep breath together, because we want to keep the breathing rhythm going as we roll. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. That's my process. Is nose breathing. Sometimes you breathe through your mouth, but if you do that continually, your mouth's going to dry out. So you don't want to breathe through your mouth too often, but sometimes it's needed, necessary, or appropriate. But I encourage you to inhale through these two nostrils and exhale through these two nostrils. There's different techniques you can use with your fingers, holding one nostril or the other. But I want you to get used to basic breathing in and out of your nostrils. Whenever you're in stress, something happens in your life that just causes anxiety, when you're depressed, any of those emotions that take your frequency down, just bring in a breath of life and exhale for a little while until you feel a change. That's what the breath is all about, worshiping the kingdom inside of you. Worship the kingdom inside of you with inhaling and exhaling, and your energy will change if you focus on doing that breath in and out for a while, and stay in the present moment, right? It's all about staying in the present moment. There's so much power in the present moment. So let's empower this body and put on some Time for Healing by the Sounds of Blackness to bring our consciousness up to the level of action. Action. We got to take action these days because the world has gone insane. And we're going to talk about the narcissist energy that is driving not just these wars and colonialism, but the sick care system. Yes, it's all connected. So let's get on the floor. If you're not already on the floor, let's get on the floor. Or if you're in a chair, even if you're in a wheelchair, let's start moving the upper body and keep that upper body moving. Time for Healing by the Sounds of Blackness. I don't own the rights to this music. It's for educational and entertainment and motivation only. So let's do it. And we start with chin to chest. And let's roll this head around. Ooh, I can feel it in my back, in my shoulders, all over my upper body. Just rolling your neck around, your head around. We're rolling this head. It's very healing and strengthening. Take away the pain from the insanity. Suffering and pain, yes. Children are dying, being kidnapped, trafficked, a mess. But it's going to change. All right, let's go the other direction. Stretching these neck muscles. Worldwide epidemic of ignorance and hate. Ooh, boy. Say that again. Infected people. Sisters and brothers, yeah. All right, let's pause and let's roll those shoulders back to get more strength in the back and chest. When you do this action, you actually are building up your breast muscles too, because you're moving the chest muscles to lift the breast. I do not wear a bra, and so I have noticed that there's a little lift going on in my chest these days because I'm always exercising my upper body and my arms. So let's go forward, soul to soul. Open up your heart. Let the healing flow. All right, all right. Gotta have healing. Have to have healing. All right, let's do some strokes for swimming in the sea of energy. Breathing as we go. Backstroke. This is really lifting up and stretching the muscles under the arms. And we are doing a work here today. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? Shake it off. Let's get on our back. I'm going to adjust my camera. Get on our back and lift up the legs. Too much. Lift up those legs and roll the ankles and the wrists. Get the wrists and ankles moving. And let's reverse that. Breathe in. Don't forget to breathe. All right, let's rub your hands together. Give those knees a little love. And let's roll the lower leg around if you can. Don't take your time. Don't rush. Roll those legs around. And feel the healing from it. And let's reverse it. Time's running out. Let's begin. Healing from within. All right. Let's put our feet on the floor with those arms. And let's bend the elbows. And stretch. Roll those lower arms around. We're feeling the blood flowing in the arms, and let's reverse that. All right. It's time for healing inside of you and me. All right, let's roll over on our side. And let's get those legs rolling. Get this hip moving the energy in the hip, which is also helping the reproductive area. You are moving the blood and the energy around in the hip area now. Let's reverse that. And go slowly. Take your time. Take your time. Breathe in. Breathe in. Healing. Rolling, rolling, rolling. All right, let's flip over to the other side. And let's even it out and get the other hip motivated, energized, circulating. Take your time, don't rush. You're not in a hurry. All right, let's back. Reverse that. Reverse that. Reverse that. All right, now if you have any trouble moving your joints, rolling your joints around, there is a way you can do it easier by just flexing and pointing. Flex and point. That gets your joints and your circulation moving. And bend the knees up and down, up and down. This is an alternative way to get the joints circulating blood and strengthening the muscles. This is just such a great exercise to strengthen the muscles around your joints to avoid, so you can prevent and avoid any injuries or weak muscles in that area. And then finally, for the hip area, just raise one leg at a time. If you can't roll, Just raise or roll. That's what we do here. Raising and rolling. Just lift. And this is just a great way to start your day right in the bed. First thing, kick the covers off and start lifting the leg. You will be surprised at the energy level you'll have when you start your day moving your legs and your arms, lifting your arms. Same thing, moving the arms and legs. Now let's just grab our knee, hug our knees. Thank you, body. Thank your body for cooperating this morning. Rocking side to side. Give your spinal cord a nice massage. Breathe in, and roll to one side and push up. And give yourself a hand. You did it. We're on the floor. You did it. Give yourself a hand. Now let's just finish it off. Icing on the cake with some vagus nerve stimulation. Rub those hands, get the heat going. And then we place our hands on the back of the neck and squeeze. Breathe in and release. Squeeze. Breathe in and release. Squeeze. Breathe in and release. Squeeze. Oh, that feels so. I can feel that energy flowing all the way to my toes. If you're doing it correctly, you'll feel the flow of energy moving throughout your body because the vagus nerve is a major pathway, a major highway, Wi-Fi system. Number one to your gut, your microbiome. It communicates from your brain to your gut what you need in this journey that you're on. Breathing in and out. Oh, and then if you just, let's just tap down the arm, get the skin activated. Type right in here where you've got some major lymph glands under your arm. You want to tap, tap, tap. Get the poof out and have a pit. Tap down the other side. Get that skin, wake up that skin. Love. We're loving ourselves, taking charge of our health. The body responds to love so well. Tap, tap, tap. Tap around your chest, right here in the middle, your thymus gland. That's a major immune system booster. Be sure and love on your boobies. Massage. Lift them up, lift them up. Tap, tap, tap around the chest, under the arm, boobies, all that. Love, I love you, boobies. Thank you. And then on the navel area, give your microbiome some attention. It's your army. Down there around your navel is where a trillion army lives. Trillion amount of army, microbes, bacteria, viruses. Yes, viruses, they're in there. And fungus, all working on your behalf to strengthen you and help balance this amazing vessel. So let's go to the back now and give your kidneys and adrenal glands some love. Tap, tap, tap. Love, love, love. Especially if you have pain in this area, it just might be your kidneys need more love, more water, and more love. And your adrenal glands work hard these days to eliminate the stress, all this stress going on in the world, stress creating activities, the clown show in Washington and the politics. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. And it's just grab the popcorn. That's what I'm doing, grabbing the popcorn, enjoying the show. All right, so we've done our joint rolling. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. And let's get ready to absorb some knowledge that will help us dismantle the colonial sick care system. Why do we need to do that? Well, the world is telling us that it's happening already. All this activity in the Middle East is representing a colonial system that's crashing, because you can study the history of the Middle East. And by the way, we say the Middle East, but that's really Africa. The Middle East has always been a part of Africa, that huge continent over there that has many countries. The Middle East, Israel, Iran, all those countries are part of Africa. So we can say that Africa has been under colonial oppression for many, many years. And you see what has happened, what it has created. And what we are seeing, I believe what we're seeing in Gaza, Palestine, now Iran's getting involved. They're talking about creating more war, more drama. It's all about dismantling this colonial system from Britain to Africa that needs to go. And we're going to talk about all the damage that this system has created, all the death and destruction, as you can see in Palestine, that this system has created. And it's not just over in the Middle East. It's not just, we don't think about the colonialism effect in America, but it happened around Columbus time, Europeans coming over and thinking they can do better with the Native Americans, they can improve everything. Yeah, that's why we have a mess that we have. And we can choose to dismantle it in our own lives. And we're going to talk about that. But let's take a commercial break while we go to the studio. I'm going to shift while we take this break and get into my studio, get some tea for my throat, and so I can clearly speak. And we'll be right back after this.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
Yes, yes, yes. We want to hear from you today. You're the guest, and we want to help you dismantle the chaos that we have been witnessing all around us that has affected everyone. If you think it has not affected you, then we're going to show you some news about what is going on, not just in your own body, why your own body is suffering or challenged these days has a lot to do with the colonial system that many are in denial about how it has affected the whole world, actually. So let me take you first to a video about debunking Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is a YouTuber and a teacher, a speaker. He made a video about what is a woman, which was pretty interesting. But he also had some really stupid, in my opinion, stupid comments about colonialism and how it affected the world. So I'm going to start with that information. And again, all the videos, all the internet photos I display on this show are for educational purposes only. We're claiming fair use here applied because we are here to educate you, inspire you, motivate you to take charge of your health with the truth. Now, that's something that YouTube and some of the social media systems don't like truth, but I'm here to share it with you at risk sometimes because sometimes I violate copyright rules. But we're going to play this video first, and then I'll take your calls. I see we have a caller with their hand up in the studio. But this was a guy who I found who is debunking Matt Walsh, this famous YouTuber and producer. I'd say he's a movie producer, Matt Walsh. So this guy takes issue with him, Kaiser Raja. I thought this was a great, short, very short analysis of the dark reality of colonization. How the all in the world and the history shows us the dark reality, even if some people are in denial, there's a dark reality that we are living today, even today in our sick care system. So let's watch. This is a 3 minute, and it's for educational purposes only. Fair use here.
What is a woman famed Matt Walsh today shared a post on X that I absolutely have to respond to. This is what he said. Europe colonized the world by bringing civilization to uncivilized places. What's happening now is like a reverse colonization. The third world is bringing chaos and disorder to previously civilized places. It's colonization minus all the benefits. Colonization, that golden era of history when Europeans went to the rest of the world sharing their civilization. But let's take a closer look, shall we? First, let's talk about the benefits of colonization. Perhaps Matt is thinking of the introduction of smallpox to the Americas, which wiped out approximately 90% of the indigenous population. Or maybe he is reminiscing about the Belgian Congo, where King Leopold's regime resulted in the death of an estimated 10 million Congolese. Such civilization, that is. And let's not forget the British in India. The Bengal famine in 1943 alone exacerbated by British policies, resulting in the deaths of up to 3 million people. Clearly, bringing civilization to India was boon for the people starving to death. Or how about the Herero and Namakwa genocide, which is now in Namibia, and that was carried out by German colonial forces. It is often considered the first genocide of the 20th century, and it was done in the name of European civilization and, of course, materialistic science. How about Australia, where the so called civilizing efforts included the stolen generations, where Aboriginal children were forcibly removed from their families to be educated in the ways of the Western society? Because nothing says civilization like cultural genocide and family destruction. So when Matt talks about colonization and its benefits, I have to wonder if he's just conveniently overlooking these small details. Surely they are small for him. Colonization didn't spread civilization, it spread death, destruction, and exploitation. Now let's address the idea of reverse colonization. The term suggests that the people from the global south moving to the global north is akin to the European colonization of the world. But there is a critical difference. Colonization was violent, coercive, and driven by a desire for economic exploitation and domination. Migration, on the other hand, is largely a result of people seeking safety, opportunities, and better life, often from the very regions destabilized by the colonial legacies or the global wars caused by the global north. In conclusion, romanticizing colonization as some benevolent act of bringing civilization to the uncivilized is not only historically inaccurate, but it's morally reprehensible. It dismisses the suffering of millions and ignores the brutal realities of what colonization truly entailed. So, Matt, if you want to talk about civilization, Perhaps start by recognizing the humanity and contributions of all cultures and the horrific impacts of colonization on the rest of the world. Until then, let's leave the rose tinted glasses of colonial nostalgia where they really belong. That is a trash can.
Wow. Okay. He puts it really succinctly and accurately, leaving the benefits of colonization in the trash can. And that's the way many of us feel. And that's why we're talking about a sick care system that we have all been influenced by, and the major destructive, disease promoting activities of cut, burn, and poison. That is generally how this medical system that we have been under has operated. Cut it out, burn it with chemo or radiation, and then poison. All of those great ideas for civilization purposes, right? As he said, the European mind, the Zionist mind, the white mind has thought, oh, we'll just burn it out, cut it out, poison it. And over the centuries, as we are witnessing sadly in Gaza and Palestine, just destroy the land and take it, destroy the people and take it. And then we'll build a better place, a better resort on the beach and all that. All the minds of the men, mostly men, I would say, who thinks colonialism is the way to go, who have thought that. Let's say past tense, because I say all the destruction, chaos in the Middle East is leading to a dismantling of the whole damn system. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Let me go to the phones. I've got people with their hands up. Great. Thank you for joining me this morning. We want to hear from you. We're on Blog Talk Radio is up and running, which is not happening regularly these days. But Blog Talk Radio is up and running. If you have a question or comment, raise your hand. And we're talking about dismantling the colonial sick care system. Please, please, let's just stay on topic because I have lots of videos to share on this topic. And I want your comments, your feedback on how you feel about this system. Has it helped you? Have you profited from it? Are you healthier? Are you stronger? Let's go to the phones here and ask this. 321-368. Your mic is open. Welcome and thank you for joining us this morning.
Buenos dias, Queen.
Buenos dias.
Reina,
Buenos dias, mi amor.
All right, and buenos dias to the audience there. But anyway, your speaker was so on point. I mean, everything he said was right on point. Being a history of form, I won't say formal because I consider myself still, a history teacher. Because of a lot of times I'm sharing with people even today.
Yes,
and so,
thank you.
It brought me back as I listened to him. It brought me back to one time when I was teaching at the elementary school where I was teaching them. Actually, it was on a Black History time, and so I asked the principal if I could do a presentation. He allowed me to do it in the auditorium. And I wasn't really teaching colonialism. I was teaching how, back then I was under the assumption of the theory of that the Germans had come up with, and I didn't even realize that it was Germanic. The theory of Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid, and so I was teaching how the races became, and I was doing it from a historical and a scriptural perspective. But anyway, long story short, I was bringing out how that when the Europeans, a lot of times, when they traveled, as they began sailing the seas and everything, they tend to notice that the people that they were running into were not the same color as them. They were people of color. Everywhere they went, they noticed it was people of color. And they saw the resources that these people had. They saw, even though maybe they were living according to them primitively, because, various see, what they didn't bring out was a lot of the culture and so forth that they had came from the Moors coming in and bringing them up to a higher a level of I'll say of existence, because they were what they were calling these people barbaric. They were what they were calling these people savages. They were living with their pets, with their animals, the cows, the chickens, everything. We're all in the same house with them, you know, and all of this stuff. And then there's sedentary. But anyway, I don't want to go into it. I want to skip from there. I went to a school. I went to a college that was basically what they call a black school, you know. And most of our teachers there, actually just about, I'd say about 98% of our teachers were people of color. And we did have European. We had a few Europeans. Okay, I remember in relationship to what you're talking about, your overall theme of this show, I remember when I took Western civilization, that was part of your core. Basically, you had to take that. You had to take Western civilization. You had to take world history too. And so I remember our Western civilization teacher was an Englishman from England.
Wow.
And here's the part I wanted to just share with the audience, which was ironic. He told us from the very beginning. Now, here you got all these black students in a classroom of black students. He's telling them, he's like, well, I don't expect, basically, I'm paraphrasing it, but I'm trying to get as close to his words as possible. He was saying, he let us know from the beginning. He said, he said, nobody here gets A's. He says, in England, the way that the school system is, in comparison to the system here in the United States, basically he was talking about our school. He was like, for a person to make a B in this school would be equivalent to making an A in England. And he says, and basically he says, no one will get an A, but if you get a B, you're doing good. You're doing good, and you can consider yourself to be doing well in this class. Well, what happened? I'm just going to cut the chase. When we did our first test, I think about 4. I wasn't among those, but about 4 students made A's. And when this teacher, professor, he had to pass these papers, he was red in the face. He was upset because he had already predicted that those students of color couldn't make A's in his class. It was like I said, it's about 4 people out of a class of, I think might have been 25 or 20 of us. I think it was about 20 of us in that class. And he was like, okay, you did it this time, but you won't do it next time. And it was tripped out. Okay, so on the next test, there was other ones that there was some that made A's again. And then those number of students made B's. I think he gave me a B minus where I should have gotten a B. And so we looked at each other and we just were kind of chuckling, looking at him turn red because he was upset.
Yeah.
Because here we upset the ox cart. He had already predicted. And this is like what Colonial does. They were like, well, we are better off than you.
Yes.
Our society, our culture, our customs and everything, our educational system. You don't have an education, but they do. These people, these indigenous people do have an educational system.
Right.
It may not be structured the same way that yours is, but it's effective because what they've done is they passed down all. Because I was checking out something last night where it was talking about indigenous people, how maybe they didn't have a whole lot of writings in books, or maybe they did, but they wrote on stone. It was bringing out how they wrote on mountains. It was bringing out how they they pass their history and culture along, and tapestry and all kind of stuff. And with that, I'm going to shut up there because I could go on. But
yeah,
you
know what, Mikhail, what you're bringing out is the comparison of working with nature versus working with technology and man's ego and narcissism. And that's where we're going. Thank you so much for sharing that, because we're going to talk about the history of the medical system, and that just points out how the educational system has brainwashed Americans to thinking that there's only one way. That system you just described, you're in a classroom, you get A's and B's, and then they taught you things that were probably not related to the Native American relationship they had with nature. So I appreciate that you sharing that so much, because that's where we're starting with history and how this government in the United States has intentionally brainwashed and dumbed down the education system, so that now we don't have a healthcare system, we have a sick care system. It's designed to promote pharmaceuticals and blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to get into trouble this morning. Let me go to another call. Thank you, Mikhail, for sharing that. We have another caller, 319-457. Your mic is open. Yes. Welcome and share and tell us what's on your mind.
Good morning. This is a Kufi.
Hey, Kufi.
I'm indigenous.
Nature boy. Hey, nature man, I should say.
I'm indigenous.
Yes.
I've been indigenous since I was a child.
Yes.
That brother who just talked, he's indigenous. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being indigenous. That's who we are.
Exactly.
That separates us from the government. We know we were indigenous. We had an indigenous government when they came here.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. So a lot of us don't know that. We get caught up with Republican, Democrat. I don't get caught up in none of that because we're indigenous. I'm indigenous to the land.
Thank you.
They are studying me every day. Every day I walk outside, I get studied. Like, wow. How does he walk in peace amongst all this and all? I'm with nature. So the medical community is beneath me. The only way I would go into a hospital is if to visit someone. I mean, if maybe if I was in a bad accident or whatever, that's it. I would never, ever, ever, ever put my feet in a hospital. Ever. Maybe if I have to work there or something like that, but I would never, ever, ever put my life in the hands of another person who is a medical. Never, ever do that because I'm indigenous and I know how to heal myself. I know how to heal myself with herbs, with nature, with the universe. They don't. The medical community hates people like me. They despise people like me because I don't need them. So because I don't need them, they don't exist in my world. That's how you crumble when you're talking about ending colonialism. That's how you end it. You don't. Once you don't have a need for it. Then it dies. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes. And so we
something. Go ahead.
We have to be deprogrammed from years of brainwashing and misinformation. All the things that the corporate elite and the psychopathic, narcissistic government wants to say that we're getting this is misinformation and medical all of that is what we need deprogramming from. And just as Kufi,
it can happen really quick.
Yes.
You just get up in the morning and dictate what you're gonna put in your body.
Yes.
I'm gonna drink some water. I just made me I just made me some almond honey milk. I'm drinking it right now.
Yes, thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
You dictate what you put in your body every day. Nourishing, natural. That's how it's done real quickly. Deprogramming doesn't take a long time.
Right.
It just takes a step forward. Say, hey, I'm gonna dictate what my body needs today. And I think about what do I need right now? Oh, I need some water. I need some hydration. What do I need right now? What do my body need right now?
Yeah,
what do I need right now? What can I do for myself right now?
In fact,
that's how you deprogram yourself.
Yeah, in
because
fact,
you go on social media, guess what? You go on social media right now, you know what's going on? Everybody's dictating to you, telling you what God is saying. Oh, you're going to make $1 million tomorrow. Oh, God is telling me you need to move. God is telling me you need to. They are controlling our emotions and our minds using social media right now. I mean, look at the black woman prophesying right now. It's hilarious.
So
white men prophesy. Everybody's controlling because that is the medical system. It's not just a physical; it's also emotional. Because if I can control your emotions, I can control what you do every day. Then I can tell you what you need to put in your body.
And that is what
go on social media. Look,
I know.
Go on social media and see it. It's right there in front of your face. Everybody is using hypnosis, and they want to control your mind.
Yes. Okay.
So that's what's going on right now.
All right. So Kufi, I'll come back to you. I want to play this teaching from a queen here. She's a royal brown-skinned queen with a huge afro. And I found her teaching about how the Rockefeller changed the medical industry. Her name is Rose Marie Havson, beautiful sister who's dropping some wisdom that we all need to hear. So let's listen to this very short teaching about John D. Rockefeller, by the way, is a Zionist. Let me put that out there. And that is what is the challenge today with colonialism. All this land grabbing in the Middle East, death and destruction is fueled by what I believe are Zionist, narcissistic psychopaths. So this is a little history about John Rockefeller, who fits into that category of Zionist, narcissist, psychopaths. Here we go.
By choosing what you put at the end of your fork. So today's going to be a little bit different because we're going to do.
Back that up. She says,
hey everyone, Rosemary Havson back again to help you take full control of your life by choosing what you put at the end of your fork. So today's going to be a little bit different because we're going to do a bit of a story time, a historical story time. And let's begin with, what is medicine and how did modern medicine begin? Well, it goes back to the.
Now, once again, disclaimer, this video is for fair use. We are using this video to educate our audience, and that is the only reason we're playing it. So fair use applies here.
Turn of the century with an oil magnate by the name of John D. Rockefeller. He owned 90% of all oil reserves in the United States.
And you notice these old white men have always been in the picture of history, of colonialism. And it's the dark-skinned woman here who's describing this history, who is now the light. We are the light. Minorities are not minorities, as they've told us. The brown-skinned people are the majority of the population. And just look at this old white man who's about to croak, who thinks who has tried to control with his narcissism, ego, maniac.
At that time, and he was America's first billionaire. Now, some people say he had some less than pleasant ways of ensuring his monopoly, but that's for another story. The main thing is that he discovered ways of using oil in so many ways that it led to him being able to have the largest oil company in the United States, and that was Standard Oil. Standard Oil was then broken up into Chevron and Mobil and et cetera, but it was all still owned by Rockefeller. So at about 1907, scientists discovered petrochemicals from oil, and that was really exciting, and it was new at the time. And what Rockefeller saw was ding, 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 an opportunity, because as scientists found more and more of petrochemicals, they found out that they also discovered vitamins as well. And then they
That's British translation for vitamins. Vitamins is how the British speak. It's vitamins in the US.
started studying plant vitamins that then could be studied. They imitated those nutrients from plants for medicinal reasons. They didn't make the exact same elements from the plants, but they made something very similar enough that it could be patented, but it wasn't exactly the same. And the crux of the matter is that it wasn't the same, so it didn't have the same benefits. Now, stay with me. So that was about 1907. So Rockefeller saw a great opportunity at that point where he said, I could take over the oil industry, the chemical industry, and medicine as well.
Now that's pure narcissistic energy. Not I could join with, partner with other people and create something wonderful for the population. Nope. I'm going to do it. I'm the narcissist in charge. I'm going to control everything. And that's where colonialism has its downfall.
How could he deal with the medical industry? Because it was run by doctors who practiced natural medicine. As a matter of fact, almost 90% of all Americans at that time were very comfortable using natural medicine. So from midwives to herbalists to holistic medicine practitioners, these were all recognized and respected modalities for helping people get better, and they worked. But Rockefeller knew that this would not work for his bottom line. So
now this has been the operation of what I call the Zionist mafia. They look at what's working and they say, how can I control it and profit off of it? And that's what the mafia has been doing for hundreds of years, and now it's being dismantled.
He had to find a way around it. He went to see his friend and colleague Andrew Carnegie, and together they devised a plan to take over the medical industry and to, modernize it, because there were so many carpetbaggers. That was the expression at the time, that people were coming in with their clinking bottles on their horse-drawn wagons and ripping people off because it was just snake oil. Now that was the extreme. So Andrew Carnegie developed the Carnegie Foundation, and that provided the funds to come up with a report that would study what medicine looked like across the United States. So they sent out a man by the name of Abraham Flexner. Now, keep that name in mind. Abraham Flexner went across the United States and studied medical colleges, medical schools, and doctors and hospitals. And it seemed like he found a way to get petrochemicals in practice instead of natural medicines. When the report came out in 1910, the report then recommended that hospitals and medical colleges should then be centralized and everybody should be studying the same thing. It then demonized natural medicine practitioners, including midwives and naturopaths and herbalists. They were then told that what they were practicing was not in the United States citizens' best interest. And they were actually jailed and fined with crushing fines to put them out of business and to run them out of town. When they left, what that led to then was the Flexner report recommended hospitalization and how hospitals should be functioning without midwives, and that birth should no longer be at home, they should be in a hospital. The same way that when natural practitioners have ways and remedies to help people get better, people were encouraged to go to doctors. And there at the doctors, they were prescribed medication. There was the beginning of our natural and modern pharmaceutical industry, all from Mr. John D. Rockefeller and his colleague Andrew Carnegie, who provided a way of making it happen. So what do we have today? Today we have a medical industry where the focus is not on healing, it's on treating symptoms. So as you can probably gather, you can treat symptoms forever, for a lifetime. A person can be on high blood pressure medications for their entire life and never be able to control their high blood pressure without medication. They'll never come off them if they follow a particular way of being. Now, I'm not saying that people should forget about their medication altogether. What I am saying is that in addition to that, there is room for complementary modalities, complementary practices that can actually help you have the better outcome. So if you knew that you were able to eat the right food, and the right food would help to stabilize your blood pressure, and if you knew that if you ate the right food, got the right amount of sleep, and took the time to relax, that then could take care of high cholesterol and prevent things like type 2 diabetes and weight gain. If we have only one way of doing things, it discourages people from actually wanting to see and find alternatives. And the alternatives are usually ridiculed and, guess what, demonized like they were back in the time of John D. Rockefeller. Now, people say that modern medicine is important because we have technological advances that actually help people, and that's true. But at the same time, when you find that doctors in the United States do not study on nutrition and how important nutrition is to health, recovery, injury recovery, surgery recovery, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. We need to really examine what we're putting into our bodies to fuel us when it comes to our food. Because if food is medicine, then why aren't we using it more? And why aren't we living a better quality of life? Some questions to leave you with as we go into the season of indulgence and fun at the same time. Think about it. When's the last time you thought about other ways of treating and dealing with preventable illnesses other than a pill? John D. Rockefeller coined the phrase, a pill for an ill. And that was the way that he saw the modern medical industry coupled together with modern pharmaceuticals, all from petrochemicals. So that's story time today. I'm Rosemary Hassan.
I got to leave this queen's picture up for a minute because she represents the change and the dismantling going on, where her hair, she's wearing her crown. I just love this view. She's wearing her crown. She's probably from Britain because she has an accent. But this queen here has just dropped some jewels. How Rockefeller said, a pill for an ill. That's the colonialization that we have been living under all over the globe that is coming down. And the evidence is what's going on in the Middle East. World War III is heating up, breaking out, in action, whatever you want to call it. And this sister right here has told us the key to undoing the colonialization. Number one, let your crown come out like hers. Look at that crown. Oh my goodness, beautiful. And she is educated, smart, alternative, no pill for an ill, because you know what that has created? Iatrogenic medicine. Iatrogenic, I think it's spelled IATROGEN. Iatrogenic medicine is the number one cause of death. And that is drugs and therapies prescribed by doctors that have killed people. That's the number one. It was the number one cause of death, let me say 2 years ago, probably worse now. People are dying from the side effects of a pill for an ill. So we're coming out of this colonial mind that says, as she said, there's more than one way to treat an illness. There's more than one way to treat an acute situation, chronic situation. And many of us have been brainwashed to take a pill for blood pressure, and they end up on it for the rest of their life. Why? Because they listened to the man in the white coat that said, this is the best way, this is the only way. Colonialization. Look at what's going on in Gaza and Palestine as a perfect example of how there's only one way. There's no two-state solution. We're going to clean out the area. We're going to clean up Palestine, Gaza. We're going to kill and destroy. So this pill for an ill kills and destroys, according to the evidence now of iatrogenic medicine that's killing and destroying. And then, as she said, this brought in the partnership of big pharma and the medical system. And now we have a system that for the past 3 years was promoting a jab as the solution. The problem shows up as, oh my goodness, look at the viruses out there that are killing people. Even though we know at this point your microbiome is full of viruses and bacteria, and all you need to do is balance all that activity with your army. But no, we have this colonial system that comes in, wants to clean up the body and put in pills and other drugs and think that's going to help. That's safe and effective. Thank you, my queen from Britain. We're going to take a break. And here's what, before we go, let me share this comment from Naima Latif, our executive producer. She says, thank you for this topic. So many indigenous people knew holistic healing methods. Yes, our grandparents, our ancestors, that's what they lived on. But we can't benefit from their knowledge because they were murdered by colonialists and their way of life was destroyed. Yes, and thank goodness, thank you, Naima, for that comment. Thank goodness we have people like Kofi James and myself and others who are reviving and revitalizing those methods and actually promoting new knowledge, because I don't think our ancestors promoted the microbiome, which is a blessing from science that so many people became interested in the gut health and all the little critters that are in our body to help us stay healthy and grow and prevent disease. Those microbiome, all those microbes are not only active to heal, but they can also prevent disease if we raise our consciousness and make the choices to decolonize, to dismantle the white supremacist attitude that they have the only solution, when all these indigenous people all over the world are the solution with new knowledge. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the narcissism and parasites that this system has created, because that's really at the root of most diseases, is that the parasites and the energy of control. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Have you ever wondered why some of the healthiest people still get sick? Or why the occurrence of learning disabilities like ADHD have drastically increased over the last 50 years? How is it that the cancer rate has gone from 1 in 8,000 back in the 1910s to 1 in 2 today? Isn't it odd that even though we are more focused on health than ever before, that there's still been an increase in diseases, disorders, illnesses, and other conditions that destroy your quality of life? What if we told you that the very things you're using in your home to avoid these health concerns are actually what's causing them? If you're the decision maker in your home, you know how overwhelming it can be to keep your family safe. Today, we'd like to welcome you and simply provide you with some important information and shed some light on some health concerns you may not be aware of. Over the last 100 years, thousands of toxic chemicals have been introduced into society because of an excessive overstock of chemicals designed for warfare in the Second World War. Today, as the 2013 documentary The Human Experiment states, quote, 42 billion pounds of toxic chemicals enter into commerce every day, that amount would fill up 623,000 tanker trucks. And as we speak, there are over 80,000 such chemicals on the market in the US. Over the last half century, chemical usage has gone up by 2,000%. And it isn't until there are enough people hurt by these products that there are even questions raised. Does this sound familiar? On July 12, 2018, the well-known grocery store brand of talcum and baby powder company, Johnson & Johnson, was ordered to pay a $4.6 billion lawsuit. As it was said, they knowingly covered up asbestos in their product for over 40 years, and we have been trustingly using it on ourselves and our most precious of all things, our newborn babies. As parents, we work hard to keep our families safe and healthy. We diligently try to choose the best brands at the grocery store for our families. After all, keeping a clean home is an important part of good health. But is it possible that cleaning your home is dangerous? 7.3 million American couples have trouble conceiving or carrying a pregnancy to term. This is a 49% increase since 1988. Recent studies have shown that babies that do make it to term are being born pre-polluted, with up to 28 harmful chemicals in their blood, with indicators that over 400 more were present, all without ever eating food, drinking water, or even breathing air yet. It just doesn't make any sense. Studies showed that in 1999, 1 in 500 kids had autism. Today, it's 1 in 59. But the effects don't stop there. As of 2013, the increases over the last 45 years show that life-threatening birth defects has increased 100%. Genital deformities in baby boys has increased 122%. Asthma has increased 80%. Leukemia in children has increased 74%. And ADHD has increased 53%. A 20-year independent study was done by the University of Bergen in Norway. This study started closely tracking a population of 6,235 women and men. They tracked the typical use of home cleaners and how they affect lung tissue of those who use them over a long period of time. Over the course of the study, the participants answered questions about their usage of cleaning products and had their lung capacity tested regularly. In May 2018, the study was published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, which generated global media attention because their findings from the study clearly showed that significant damage had been done to lung tissue, and that by using national brand cleaners, even only once a week, had the same effect as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years. Even if we're only using these products once a week, we are exposing ourselves, our children, and even our pets to something that is considered more dangerous than secondhand smoke. Ask yourself, would you knowingly hand your child a pack of cigarettes?
Well, that's kind of what we've been doing, handing our children a pack of cigarettes. I don't know if you heard how she explained the chemicals that are now very abundant and toxic came from war, the leftovers from war. So this is another reason why our environment, why the war has to end, the dismantling of the colonial system has to end, because there's been so much damage from the wars in our earth, on our planet, that we are all sick. Many people now, many people are so sick and tired, that it's shameful how it's very shameful how we are. I have to send someone a message that keeps bothering me on the show while I'm doing the show. Okay, they obviously. So it's shameful the amount of damage war has done. But I have really been working to stay out of sadness and disappointment and anger about the wars, and really focusing on what we can do about it. And one of the things we need to realize is, in this next audio I'm going to play, how it relates to parasites and narcissism. When we look at what's going on in the Middle East, you got a bunch of narcissistic Zionist mafia, is what I call them, running the show. And that includes the United States Congress and Senate. Anytime you welcome a war criminal to your home, like we did in Washington, you're just as guilty. So we, the enlightened ones, we, the light bearers, have to educate ourselves and really tune in or focus on what is the solution. That's what the female solution does very well. What's the solution? So I want you to hear this woman talk about parasitic. I saw this title and I said, oh, I got to listen to that. Parasitic narcissist damage your psychological immune system. And then we're going to get into the physical part of parasite damage. But I want you to just think about this whole war situation and the warmongers in Washington, D.C., that they're a bunch of parasites. Just think of all the little, the suit wear, tie wearing critters in Washington having all these meetings and talking about things that don't affect the people really, don't impact the people in a positive way. They're all parasites and narcissistic. Okay. So let me play this for you and you'll understand even more the parasitic narcissistic connection that we see in the third dimension that is really operating on a spiritual level. That's where we have to go with. What we don't even see is this parasitic narcissist damage to your mind and your whole immune system. All right, let's go here. Let me play this. Open it up.
Through my books, international telephone consultations, and global podcasts, I put the emphasis on helping individuals to access the calming, restorative parts of the parasympathetic body-mind systems that lead to healing, recovery, personal transformation, and the evolution of your true authentic self. I want to speak with you about how parasitic narcissists damage your psychological immune system. A parasitic narcissist is a merciless taker, feeding off of your emotional and psychological attachment to them, your vulnerability and dependency. They steal your physical and psychological energy and exploit your creative gifts. Being the host of a parasitic narcissist is dangerous to your mental, physical, and psychological health. You are in fight or flight mode, the sympathetic nervous system zone that causes oxidative stress. When prolonged, it disrupts the endocrine and adrenal systems and causes extreme exhaustion, chronic insomnia, serious problems falling asleep, staying asleep, and going back to sleep, as well as digestive disorders, gut dysbiosis, where the gut flora in the gastrointestinal tract has a microbial imbalance as a result of a small intestinal fungal overgrowth. The bad bacteria outweighs the good bacteria in the gut, weakening your system. Over many years of being ruthlessly victimized by the parasitic narcissist, you are always exhausted, lack energy, and your self-assertion has diminished with your confidence. Your creative gifts lie fallow. You have severe mood shifts, and you feel very depressed and anxious most of the time. You are moving in a slow motion nightmare, dragging yourself through your days and nights, where your eyes are wide open, intractably sleepless. How to break free from the parasitic narcissist. Research and study the origins and psychodynamics of the narcissistic personality. Read my books, Recovering and Healing After the Narcissist and Freeing Yourself from the Narcissist in Your Life. Let go of the shame and doubt that has bound you from childhood for many through daily practices of self-care. getting quality sleep, resting when you need to, having downtime that is open and spacious, allowing your mind just to go into quiet reveries wherever it needs to go, using your many creative gifts. Movement and exercise are exceedingly important for your health and for working with both anxiety and depression. Forming relationships with supportive friends of fine character who really appreciate you and whom you can trust. Always use your inner wisdom and intuition to protect yourself from entering into relationships with narcissistic personalities. Create your own spiritual practice through forms of meditation and prayer, or it can be what absolutely suits you. Some individuals go into nature's quiet and solitude. Develop a capacity for enjoying your own company. Please go to my website. I'm offering free excerpts from my book, Recovering and Healing After the Narcissist. You'll see the contact page.
Now, that woman speaks in such a lovely, soft tone about this condition or this atmosphere. She's talking about people in your life who are narcissistic, which basically means very controlling. You know, the narcissistic energy, when someone in your life wants to tell you what to do all the time and they don't like to listen to you. I've had so many people in my life with this energy that I like spotted on. I can know it on the spot. I can feel it when people, and even I had to watch myself in the past being very controlling with my own family. But now she's talking about narcissists who are so controlling that they're parasites. They're sucking your blood out and they're weakening you. What parasites do is actually weaken you. So I found a guy in Hawaii. Yeah, we're going to Hawaii today. Aloha. To hear this doctor in Hawaii talk about parasites, which we all have. We don't think about it, having parasites, but it's a reality. And that's what the name of this video is, the reality, rethinking reality. Because parasites are in everybody, especially if you have pets, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, you got parasites. So let's listen to a teaching. This guy goes on and on. I'm not going to play the whole video because he's a teacher and he has a website. I actually subscribe to his channel because I want to hear more from him. But I just want to share with you the knowledge that this guy has, that we all need to know, rethinking reality and the situation with parasites in our body. So let's wake up, because we got to make a lot of changes. As the woman just said, we're living under the influence of narcissistic, warmongering government, and then the media, the same thing, controlling your brain so that you are race baiting and doing all the other crazy activity that weakens your mind and your immune system.
What a beautiful sunny day. Dr. Robert Kassar, eartheracademy.com, earthshipproducts.com. And today we're gonna talk about, well, what a lot of people don't like to talk about, which is the understandings of parasitic physical demons within yourself. Remember, understanding this sort of conundrum is because most people do not think that they have parasites. Forget about that. How about once we find out what parasites are, then guess what they are? They are demonic entities within your organic structure. So if we can understand that, it makes life a lot easier to be able to let them go, remove them. All right.
Now think about, again, the Zionist mafia as demonic entities. There is, in my opinion, there's no other way to describe the mind of a government like Israel that is continually bombing, destroying, and killing children and women. Continually kill the population in Gaza is over 50% children, and they have killed thousands of those children now. And our government is cooperating, sending the weapons every day, every month, whatever. This whole war has been funded and provided weapons. So I would say we are looking at a demonic situation of minds that want to kill and destroy. And he's bringing us to an understanding the psychology of not only the parasites in your body, but I want you to think about the parasites in our environment and our earth who want to continue to drop bombs as a solution to conflict.
Sometimes they even kill them. Remember, these are parasites. So remember, understanding the psychology of this is very profound. Because unless you understand the psychology of parasites, and we've done lots of videos on this, look up Dr. Robert Kassar, parasites. And you want to see the first 5 categories of parasites, just so you can get an idea. Okay, oops, Hody wants to say hi. Show him your wings, Hodo. Show him your wings. Whoa. He's out here with me. And we're out here with Sheila. We'll go in a few minutes. And the turtle over there is flipped upside down, and we got to go flip him back. So, but understanding, okay, the psychology of these parasitic demons. And these parasitic demons, let's go through a little bit.
Again, this video is for educational purposes only. We are claiming fair use. This guy is educating us. We want to be a part of this education. Understanding the psychology of the parasites within and the parasites in Washington, D.C., as well as Israel Zionists. Let's go on.
Okay, of them. So let's think about it. If a parasite is no benefit to the host at all, okay, that's what a definition of a parasite is, something that lives in or on, okay, or takes away from the host and doesn't give anything back. In fact, the only thing it gives back, if it lives in the body or on the skin, is it poops inside yourself and it makes you sick. Yes, it does.
Yeah, parasites are pooping inside of us, and we think we need a medical sick care system to help us with cut, burn, and poison. Waking up, waking up. So glad we're all waking up to the insanity everywhere.
So remember, understanding the psychology. So let's get into this a little bit. And again, remember how to remove these parasites. Which one are you talking about? We're going to get into that right now. Which parasites are you talking about? Because there's lots of different names that we have come up with, of course, or science has come up with, but we really don't know what they are and how they navigate. But we do know a few things. We know that they're very powerful in their survival directive. Yes, they are. And they will live anywhere they can, anywhere. So let's get talking in the psychology.
And they will take over the land in Gaza and destroy. They will take over your land, your body.
Okay, remember, you think these parasites have the ability to mind control you? Think about it. Okay, do they have the ability to mind control you? Oh, just getting the sun right now. Feels so good. Well, when you're hungry, remember, I want you to realize you're not really hungry, you're thirsty. And your system has been short-circuited and or taken over by an alien creature we call a parasite. And parasites, when we look into them, all of them that live in the body and or on the body are cold-blooded. They're not warm-blooded.
Now, this is something that really woke me up, the fact that when you're hungry, you're thirsty. My grandson is always hungry. And I know that there's a parasite situation going there because they have a dog who likes to lick and play and all that. So remember, when you say, I'm hungry, just grab your water, hopefully with some lemon in it or orange in it. So, flavor up your water. Anytime you're hungry, drink some water, some alkaline flavored, fruit flavored water.
No, they're not. They're cold-blooded creatures, sort of akin to what I would call the reptile. And if you study reptiles, well, a reptile doesn't sweat. No, it just keeps going from the sun to the shade when it gets overheated. It doesn't sweat though. But they do have a very, very tough reproductive system, meaning tough, meaning that, well, no matter what you do to them, they still replicate if they can, when they can, and as much as they can. That's part of their directive, is just to keep replicating. I call them the replicators. So the idea here, again, if parasites are not necessary to the host, okay, then we have to go ahead and term them as a demon or demonic presence that's within your body. And these things do control people's minds. Yes, they do. Remember, when you're hungry, you're not. You're thirsty. Just realize that. But
now think about the Zionist mafia and the war machine that's killing people all over the world. Are they necessary in our world? We have been trained to believe that the military is very necessary to keep us safe, protect us from the enemy, the aliens, all that bullshit. And now we're working up to the fact it's all a money laundering game. Who's making money? Our men and women are being asked to go to the Middle East to fight a war that is going to profit the Zionist mafia. Think about those are parasites over there in our bodies, over there, all around us. We got to get rid of these parasites.
What are you hungry for? That's the question. What are you hungry for? Are you hungry for something sweet? Are you hungry for, I don't know, some fast food, some processed food? Are you hungry for some blood? Are you hungry for some blood? What are you hungry for? And remember, these parasites are all different in their power of manipulation. When the parasites are in low concentrations, just like low population concentrations in a city, they don't have too much manipulational power that we would call back in Caesar's time the mob. So remember, once the mob gets really big, the mob controls Rome, and your Rome is your body.
And that's what we've got in Washington, D.C., in my opinion, a mob of psychopathic warmongers trying to control your body and your mind to help make you think we need to go to war, we need to kill people, we need to bomb people. That is the dismantling we need to do of the psychopathic, warmongering, parasites, narcissistic, all of this. He's covering all the grounds here. Why we're here today, to rethink this complacency we've had about our government doing a bidding for us, fighting wars. No, it's a sick colonial, sick care system, government, all the works.
You've got too many, okay, of the mob in your body, because that's what they used to call the regular slaves or the people, the mob. And you had to go ahead and have gladiators. You got to make them happy. You got to give them a day off once in a while. You got to do a few things for the slaves. If not, they feel like they're slave. So once you understand that if you get too many of these creatures inside your body, and of course, which type of parasite are you talking about?
And we have too many of these government creatures in our mind right now. We got to deprogram, free our mind from these Washington, D.C. parasites. This is why I encourage you to be your own president. That system is parasitic, narcissistic, and evil in many ways, as he said, demonic.
Watch the video on the 5 different categories so you can go ahead and see. Got some work to do, guys.
Yes.
I can help you with it, for sure.
Yes.
Remember, this has been my specialty, is to be able to not only help thousands, tens of thousands of people be able to do this to themselves, but seeing patients in clinical practice and doing my practicing. I'm practicing with different potions and different remedies, okay, different things that I heard that would, once you find out about parasites, once I found out about parasites, and I'd said, how do I kill them? Remember, I'm a hunter. How do I kill it? Instead of how do we let them go? Okay, or how do we let them leave us, is because they're not welcome anymore. Here is why, it's because I'm not feeding them anymore. My body, I just changed it up. I started learning the Earther Academy terrain modification practices, principles, and protocols. And I started doing a little bit at a time. Remember, it's a journey. Watch that video. Starting your journey with baby steps. It's just what it takes. You just got to start it. So anyways, let's go over a couple real quick here, okay? Remember, this is for your psychology, so you can understand when you're hungry, depending on what parasite wants to feed, and there could be, remember, we're just talking physical parasites, because there's also mind parasites, ethereal parasites, or what you call invisible parasites, and they feed off of the chemicals.
No, we're talking physical and mental and real parasites in Washington, D.C. and Israel, the Zionist mafia controlling us and creating more parasitic conditions in our mind and our body, We're here to dismantle that with truth.
Or your emotions. But we're not talking about those right now because that's a whole other story. Okay, talk about this a lot on Earther Academy again. These are called ethereal parasites. We're just talking about the physical ones. So let's just say you have a lot of body fat on you. And you think, of course, as they've told us, that body fat is just an extra storage amount of energy, which it is. Okay, when you quit feeding them, they just start to shrink up, and of course your body starts to utilize them for fuel instead of you feeding these parasites fuel, and they replicate and replicate and replicate until all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you go, WTF, mate, what happened to me over the last 2 years of me going to school? Or just me stop exercising? Or maybe, I don't know, I'm getting older. What's happening to me? Why am I gaining all this weight, and why can't I lose it easily? It's because you don't understand. It's not carbohydrates, proteins, okay? It's not fats. It's not all these things that, of course, you maybe hear about, okay, like the food pyramid, how to eat healthy, what to do. But it's a combination. That's why we call this terrain modification. It's a combination of over 50 departments where you upgrade, enhance, and optimize, and you, a little bit at a time, you start reshaping your clay. Remember, you're not only the star director and producer of your own film, but you are also the creator of your sculpture. So you're a sculpturist. You can call yourself a rejuvenational engineer if you'd like, because that's what it is. You're rejuvenating and you're being an engineer about it. You do have to do the work. There is no magic pill. But let's get back to parasites. I digressed. Okay, so remember, body fat is a creature. I call it category 2 parasite. And a category 2 parasite is, well, like I said, voracious character that slowly builds its house on top of your house. How about that? So when you can pinch your skin or you can't see through your skin, remember, your skin is just paper thin. It's just what it is on everybody. It's skin. It's 6 to 7 layers of epithelial, okay, endothelial, all different squamous cell layers, connective layers of just layers. 6 or 7 layers, depending on where you read. We just know that it's see-through, it's transparent, and when your skin, okay, is clean and transparent, then all of a sudden you can start to absorb the rays from the sun. And we've done lots of videos on that. But let's get back to this again. There's so much to say, that's why. Okay, so category 2 parasite, I call them the replicators, and they eat what? What do they eat? Think about it. Body fat. Why are you so hungry all the time, and what are you hungry for? You're hungry for sugar, processed foods. You're hungry for a bunch of garbage that basically they feed off of. Okay, they feed off of primarily sugar. It doesn't matter. We've done a lot of videos on this. Honey, shmoney, it doesn't matter. White sugar, brown sugar, fruit sugar. When you've got an infestation of these replicators, they eat any type of sugar. They don't care. They prefer acidic sugar. They prefer sugar that doesn't have minerals in it. But you know what? They'll eat any sugar, especially just like you'll eat out of a dumpster if you're hungry. Yes, you will. I saw a few people in Hilo yesterday eating out of a trash can. Okay, that's in the city, and they're standing there, and I'm wondering why they're just standing there, because they're waiting for someone as they come by to put some food in the trash can, and they can go in there and see if there's any food that's left that they can eat. And I'm looking at this 70-year-old lady, poor lady. Oh my gosh, and they're mental. Okay, remember, these are mental parasites. They're no one wants to work with these people. Why? It's because they're not functional in this society. They didn't say they're broken. But to society, they're broken, and no one even sees them. They just sort of, go by the wayside. So yeast, mold, fungus, candida, okay, these are the sugar eaters. And there's many more. These are just names, like I said. But we know that as body fat. And it's not only that lives, remember, the body fat lives under the skin, okay, and it lives on top of the muscle. So that big, thick tissue called adipose tissue is basically a live creature. And if you pinch it, it hurts. Okay, yes, it does. And why does it hurt? It's because it has hijacked your nervous system.
So I'm going to stop it there. That's a 30-minute video. I only played about, I think, 8 minutes. But if you're interested in learning more from that really good teacher, his name is Robert Kasser, C-A. I'll put it in the comments, actually, because he's a good teacher. And let's see. Zelda, our Monday morning mindfulness coach, says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen teacher. Mental parasites. Wow. Thanks for teaching us. Yeah, I appreciate that guy so much. I subscribe to his channel. He's in Hawaii, my favorite vacation place. Yes, Robert, Cassar, actually. Cassar. And that video was called Rethinking Reality, understanding the psychology of parasites. I'll put it in the comments while we listen to my favorite Dr. Sunil Dahan to finish off this day of enlightenment, I hope, and teaching and education about how we dismantle the colonial sick care system, which is parasitic, narcissistic, and extremely evil on so many levels. And as a result, my favorite doctor, Sunil Dahan, is going to give his final analysis. This video is only 2 months old, so it's pretty current. And he's a medically trained doctor in the United States. He's going to give his analysis of the medical profession and what's about to happen here that we all need to be aware of, because the sick care system has not been very helpful. In emergency, as he always says, we have the best acute medical system. That means in an emergency, you go to the hospital, as he says, I think he mentions in this, and you will get the best care. So let's listen to Dr. Sunil Dahan. He says the medical profession is about to collapse. So here
Welcome to another video. The medical profession is collapsing, completely collapsing, and we are going to see enormous changes over the next 10 to 20 years. And I think a lot of these changes are sorely needed. Now, I was having an interesting conversation the other day with some doctors, and the topic of nurse practitioners and physician assistants came up. And what I was hearing was that doctors were feeling threatened by NPs and PAs. Now, I've stated my views on this clearly before in a previous video. I think nurse practitioners and physician assistants are an outstanding addition to the clinician workforce, and they are clearly needed because doctors are not meeting demand and there are enormous gaps in healthcare. So we do need additional clinicians, whether or not they have a traditional medical degree. Anyway, these doctors were feeling very threatened and saying that nurse practitioners and physician assistants were doing a lot of the work of doctors, and things were really changing, and doctors were losing a lot of prestige, autonomy, etc. And I can tell you this, a few years ago, I would have had a lot of sympathy with that viewpoint. I would have thought, yes, doctors work so hard to get to where they are, and they deserve to be compensated well. They deserve various perks of the job, whatever they are. There really aren't too many perks when you compare being a doctor with other corporate equivalent jobs. But anyway, I would have had a lot of sympathy with that point of view, that yes, let's protect the profession as much as possible. Fast forward to today, and my views have completely changed as my eyes have been completely opened to what healthcare has become and how the medical profession has surrendered completely the traditional practice of medicine, and doctors have nobody to blame but themselves. Is every doctor responsible for what's happened to healthcare? Absolutely not. But the medical profession as a whole has completely sold out. We've had terrible leadership, and really doctors today kind of deserve what the medical profession is going to face over the next 10 to 20 years. Because let's think about this, doctor leaders everywhere have made medicine more about themselves than about the patient. The patient comes a distant second, or even third, or even fourth. Let's take the United States and United Kingdom, two very different countries in terms of healthcare systems, but doctors behave in a similar way. In the United States, you have huge physician lobbying power of various different specialties. Some specialties are obviously more powerful than others, but it's always about trying to maintain maximum compensation. How will any doctor maintain a certain salary, preferably increase it? That is their number one goal, and collecting as much money as possible within their coffers. I'm talking about physician societies. In the United Kingdom, let's take the National Health Service. Now, doctors in the United Kingdom, if they hear this, may not like it, But really, when you look at the situation over there, what's happened over the last few years with strikes, etc., I know that the superficial facade is all about, yes, we want to keep our treasured NHS and we want to deliver great care. It's all about the patients. But is it really? Because actually, if you look at the demands of doctors, number one is always pay and working conditions for themselves. The patient comes a distant second. Doctors, and of course, this could apply to any profession. Most professions out there are like this. They become self-serving and they become a gravy train. But when we're talking about doctors, we're talking about the health of a nation that is at stake. Look what's happened with healthcare over the last 20 years. It would be one thing if doctors were behaving this way and wanting to protect their sacred profession, if healthcare was actually improving. But look at what's happened. Everybody out there has an experience and a story to share. You can't find a primary care doctor in your area. It's almost impossible to get GP appointments in various different locations in the United States and United Kingdom. Every single year, people get sicker. Chronic diseases are soaring. Costs are skyrocketing in the United States. Many people go bankrupt every year because they can't afford healthcare. Outcomes are getting worse and life expectancy is falling. So you tell me, if by all of these metrics, healthcare is failing, the medical system is getting worse, people are finding it more difficult to get care, then why do doctors deserve to have their quote unquote prestige maintained? Why do they deserve to have their relatively decent salaries maintained when everything is getting worse? What is the logical argument for that? That they've studied a long time to become doctors? That doesn't quite cut it for me. Does it cut it for you? It should all be about having a good system. You take the average physician society in the United States, it's entirely self-serving. Go to any doctor conference and go into their exhibit hall, and you will find who is sponsoring that physician organization. Big business, big pharmaceutical companies, big pharma, millions of dollars every year. Why would the physician society be loyal to anyone else when they are being funded by big business interests? It is a complete and utter sellout. So I want to focus on three particular ways that healthcare and the medical profession is going to find themselves in a very different place within a few years. Number one, artificial intelligence, AI. I know that's become a very commonly used term nowadays, and a lot of people don't understand what it means, but the implications for healthcare are enormous. And most doctors right now are sleepwalking. They do not understand how artificial intelligence is going to completely change the practice of medicine. Diagnosis, management, the way patient records are analyzed, the way that their results are analyzed, it's all going to change with artificial intelligence. Entire specialties might be completely replaced. Can anyone tell me a logical argument why a computer can't look at a scan better than a doctor? Traditional radiologists are going to be in trouble because there is no way that once we make good artificial intelligence, a computer won't be able to read a scan much better than the human eye. You might have a human eye overseeing it, but I do not see any circumstances by which a computer won't quickly overtake a human. That is coming up very soon. Number two, the explosion of nurse practitioners and physician assistants, NPs and PAs. As I already mentioned, this is an area that a lot of doctors are finding threatening right now, but we need extra clinicians at the front lines. And my own personal experiences of nurse practitioners and physician assistants have been overwhelmingly positive. They are very smart, they are dedicated, they often have more time with patients. And whether I've communicated with NPs or PAs as colleagues, or even when I've met them at conferences, or I receive emails and messages, my own personal experience has been very positive. And I am tremendously happy that nurse practitioners and physician assistants are working with us at the front lines, and they will continue to do more and more of the work that traditionally doctors used to do. And I don't think that this will be confined only to North America. It's already happening in the United Kingdom and many countries in Europe. Why train a doctor for so many years when a nurse practitioner or physician assistant can be trained to do the same work? I do not accept the argument from some doctors that you need these excessive levels of training to perform basic functions. I do not believe that, and I know that policymakers in various countries see it the same way. Doctors cannot hold on to doing work that can be done easily by other professionals. And number three, you, the general public. You are the ones that will initiate big change within the medical profession. You will shake things up. I really sense that we're reaching a tipping point in many countries, United States, United Kingdom, for different reasons in different systems. But I feel like the general public has had enough. Every year in the United States, for example, healthcare insurance keeps going up and up. People keep getting less and less of a service. It's harder and harder to get appointments. In the United Kingdom, even worse, almost impossible to get good care and follow up quickly in many circumstances. And all people are seeing on the news is how unhappy doctors are, how they're demanding more pay, better benefits, etc., in a failing system. How long do you think it is realistically before the general public turns on the medical profession and says, hold on, you are the doctors here. Every year, our healthcare is getting worse. When are you going to step up? In an ideal world, doctors should be steering the ship, making healthcare better. That is not happening by any stretch of the imagination. I think in many countries, public support for the medical profession is wearing quite thin. So those are some ways that I foresee big changes within the medical profession ahead. I'm a doctor myself. Once more, this is not an attack against any one doctor, but I believe the medical profession has completely sold out, and they totally deserve what is about to come to them over the next few years. And if any doctor out there thinks they can shield themselves from these changes, well, good luck to you, because you are absolutely not going to be able to do that. Big change ahead. Better brace yourself for that. Thanks, everyone.
You gotta love Dr. Sunil Dahan. Woo-hoo-hoo. He tells it like it is. Are you ready to take charge of your health? And our sister Zelda gives a perfect example of every day experiencing suffering, pain, and death from this system. She says, my girlfriend, Linda Prophet, will be memorialized today, 1 p.m., who passed last Monday after passing from blood clot after dialysis because that's another scam, because she fell in Northwestern Hospital and they left her on the floor, developed blood clots because of her bad health in the hospital, neglect. She's gone. Sad stories every day like that. And I've been helping someone. I was helping someone in Texas who had 4th-stage cancer, and she had a hard time letting go of her doctor. And she's not getting much better. She has ups and downs, roller coaster ride. But listen, we have got to take charge of our health, and I'm here to help you. I will be on Rumble in the next week. Actually, I'll be doing more videos on Rumble. I still have YouTube, Viata's Tiny House Village. I have 40 years of experience, education, training in the holistic healthcare field. So I'm ready to help you take charge of your health whenever you are. My website, yourholisticlifecoach.com. Give me a email, text, whatever. And I'll be here on the Female Solution. We're going to make some changes on the Female Solution over the next few weeks. We're going to be going to an hour show and just more quality, better presentation. We're doing a makeover on the Female Solution. So look for that in the coming weeks, and I'm excited about what we're going to be doing. I heard someone come in on the on-air network. Did you want to comment or speak? I'm going to give. We only have a minute or so left. Anyone on the on-air network?
Grand Rise.
Grand Rising sounds like Kwame Sunhorse. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it is. And, excellent. I'm coming in late, but excellent topic, because this is a major thing that the human being here on Turtle Island is facing. How to heal, because health is heal. The first 4 letters is how do you heal the body? How do you heal the spirit and the mind? And these are the challenges that we're now looking at. And what he was sharing too is, my healthcare provider with the VA, I see a nurse practitioner, because the nurse practitioner really is in the position because she does all the work that the doctor orders.
Right.
The doctor comes in and diagnoses. She comes in and do the work. Now they're putting that field into work because she is the source. And that is the female. Most of them now are nurse practitioners are female, because the female knows a lot of what needs to go on in the caring for the human, because she is the creator of the human, along with the help of the male.
Yes.
What I'm seeing too is that when he talked about AI in the doctors, is because everything, basically all hospitals now, everything is done through computer.
Right, right.
So that means that the computer is getting programmed how the human works, and it will compile all the algorithms and coding in order to say what is the best method to care for this being. But the one missing piece that they can't put in the computer is what the female has as a woman, as a mother, the compassion for the life that comes forth from her body.
Yes, and that's that's why we're dismantling the colonial, we could say male colonial sick care system, because it's for the most part run by white males,
right,
who are domineering, are narcissistic. Yes. So that's what we're here to do.
Decolonizing.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kwame. I got one more caller we want to try and fit in before we go. 312-882. Your mic is open. You got a minute.
Well, and y'all shalom.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.
Yes, Minister Plump from Chicago, Illinois. I just want to say thank you, Dr. B, for, our health is our wealth, and stand on point. And also, I just want to let you know that healing is a 23. That's a number that is, referred to as a way of life,
Yes.
And the mother is the creator of the earth and the human being and the whole universe.
Absolutely.
So thank you for you being you, and we love you, and God bless you. Plump Music Production is on the scene.
All right. All right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Minister Plump. He's keeping the music going and the positive energy going in Chicago. And we're at the Female Solution. We're keeping the love going, the knowledge going, and so much more. And that's why we're making some changes in the Female Solution. We're going to be going to an hour show eventually. And we just love having input. So I want to say a big thank you, a big hug to all of you who tune in every week and share your knowledge. That's how we're going to dismantle the male colonial system that has promoted nothing but sickness. So thank you all for sharing. Please share this with your friends and your family, especially those who are still attached to and having a relationship with their doctor. That's changing, as Dr. Sunil has said.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
Zelda's informing us that the memorial for her friend Linda Prophet is on her Facebook page. So look for Zelda Robinson. Thanks for sharing and caring. That's what we do. We share and care. And to all my yogi friends out there, namaste, sat nam, and aloha, aloha to all my lovely brothers and sisters in Hawaii. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy the sun.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Please get
Goodbye.
out in the sun today. Shalom and love, love.